Good evening, everyone. I'm your fearless host, Carla Christopher, York City's Poet Laureate, and you are watching another great episode of Culture in Maine, York's weekly cultural showcase. Coming up this week, we're going to be heading downtown to our open mic profile segment, where we're going to be visiting the First Capital Dispensing Company and showcasing Shane Speal's cigar box guitar-themed songwriter challenge-filled and incredibly fun open mic night. We're also going to be checking out a video from one of our fabulous correspondents, the York Dispatch's Randy Flaum, who's going to talk to us about the importance of high school theater. And we're going to be visiting some incredible students who are taking place in the active high school theater scene here in the York area. After that, we're going to be checking out some incredible spoken word from Philadelphia's E! The Poet Emcee. Now, if you didn't know that York was a cultural destination, just ask me and I'll tell you, because it was a huge deal for E to come all the way to York, and we got him right here at York Social Dance Studio as part of our downtown scene. We've got some of his performance and some of his incredibly thought-provoking words. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the best of York culture right in your living room.
Culture in Maine.
It is a place where the truth should be kept.
The arts and music scene really shows what people are about.
Share what's going on here in York.
Makes you feel like a family.
Local art has a face that most people can relate to.
Our community up here that sticks together.
Art is art.
Great potential. Great artists, poets, singers, writers, directors, filmmakers. It's fantastic. Everyone has a story to tell.
That moment, you have to capture that moment and share it with the rest of the world.
Showing something that maybe has not been seen before.
Without art, what is life?
I am art. I've been art ever since I was born.
It really adds a great deal to our community.
We don't really need art to exist, but you need art to live.
Culture in Maine is important, and I think playing out is important, and playing open mics and playing wherever you can play. It's all about us all checking in with each other.
Hi, my name is Amy Mummer, and tonight Culture in Maine has gone on location at the First Capital Dispensing Company for one of the longest running open mics that's here in York. And we're here with the host of the open mic here at First Capital Dispensing Company, Shane Speal.
Hi.
So how's your experience been here at the open mic? Tell us all about it.
This open mic is probably one of the most magical spots in York County music, and it's not because I'm hosting. What this has turned into, it used to be people just show up and play their songs and just do it. We turned it into basically a songwriter's development forum. Anybody can come out and play. You can come out and just do a couple covers and whatever, but for a lot of musicians, they come out here with new songs they wrote, and in this bar, everybody wants to hear original material. I mean, they like the covers. Don't be afraid to come if you just have covers. But if you have original songs, they want to hear them here. And they will be quiet for the original songs. They will pay attention. They want to know what you're writing, how you're establishing yourself as an artist. And so for me, myself, I've been coming here for many years. Before I hosted it, I was a regular here. And when I first came here, I sucked. I sucked really bad as a musician. And that's why I kept coming here, because you cannot develop as an artist, as a musician, without playing in front of people. That is essential. And so I would come out here week after week and suck really bad. But I would then get better and better. And whichever songs grabbed the audience's attention, those were the songs that I would keep in my set list. And week after week, I just kept working on it. Eventually, I became the host of this place. And even though now I'm a professional musician and I'm doing this full time, I still will not give up this hosting gig. I play festivals and play all around. However, every Wednesday night I am here hosting this. Why? Because it makes me a better musician. And everybody knows Shane can show up with a really crappy first draft of a song. And everybody knows when I'm working on something new. And when I get done with it, they'll come up to me and say, this part of the song worked, this part of the song you need to change, the lyrics aren't working here, but it's all done in love, and they want to see me get better as an artist. This open mic is essential to my act, to everything I do in music. And a lot of other songwriters are using it as well. In fact, we started something called the Songwriters Challenge here. And every week I come up with a theme. And the theme could be something as simple as sunshine or despair. Or some weeks it's write a song inspired by something that happened in your childhood. And people will go home and they have 1 week to write a rough first draft. It does not have to be perfect, but they write a rough first draft and they come in the next week and they perform it. And we do this for 13 weeks straight. If you come in a week and present a song, I don't care how rough it is. If it only has one verse, if it's a start of a song, we put your name in a hat. Every time you get a new song, your name goes in the hat again. After 13 weeks, we give away a cigar box guitar that I made. I mean, it's not, it's just a cool little grand prize. And it's, it's playable, and I'll show them how to play it, and we've given a couple of these away already. But the idea is for 13 weeks, if you come here and you meet the challenge for 13 weeks, by the end of it, you have enough songs for a brand new album. So that's kind of my big, long explanation. You wanted me here for 2 minutes. I'm keeping you here for 10, but this is very important. And so the First Capital Dispensing Company open mic, again, is magic. There's more magic here than anywhere else I've seen.
As the host here of the open mic, you facilitate a process, and you're the one who sets the tone and has a vision for your open mic that you host.
Right.
Tell us about that vision. What do you hope to accomplish here, or what do you hope people walk away with?
I hope that this place turns into a complete insane asylum by about midnight. I show up with homemade instruments. Other people show up with homemade instruments. There is absolutely no rules to this open mic. I love it when at midnight someone comes in and says, I want to do poetry. And so we get the instruments out and we give them music behind the poetry. It's more acoustic than other open mics because we don't have room for a drum set and things like that, but it's off the hook. We've had beatbox artists jamming with bluegrass guys. So you come here for the magic.
one of the performers at tonight's open mic, Rocky D'Andrea of Quarterbone. And Rocky's a musician who's been playing around the York area for a number of years. So Rocky, what is it about the CAPS open mic that makes a seasoned player such as yourself still come in and want to perform here?
Well, you got Shane Speal, of course, running the show.
Okay.
That's a top act right there, so I guess, I like to get out to all the open mics, show what I got, the original tunes, come out my 4th album, so.
Okay. And someone like you again, who's a seasoned player, you play your own gigs that are just you and your band, you and your band, as well as open mics. Mm-hmm. Now the crowds have got to be a little bit different. If you're going to a gig, paid show, they're coming to see you, whereas at the open mic, you've got a bunch of folks who aren't necessarily coming to see specifically you. So how do you win a crowd over, or how is the crowd different at an open mic such as the one here at First Cap?
Well, open mic nights are like where you go to get spit and polish or to get your show. So open mics have from the novice person just learning how to play to the very seasoned player that's been playing a while. But I guess there's a lot of mentorships that go on. And the older players like to take in the younger players and, help them out or whatnot. And it's a give and take type thing, for open mics. As far as playing in a bar, you can get in those sports bars where everyone's listening, you see mouths moving, but when it's over, nobody's clapping. And you just, you gotta learn how to be able to take that. That's not a personal thing. They're just into their own conversations or what they're into. And you just, I play for the love of music.
And that is my goal in here, is to keep you guys writing, to keep you guys developing your craft. So I want to see you guys keep doing it more and more. So last week's theme was write a drinking song. Okay? Now I have all the themes written up here on the board. If you miss one week, you know what? We practice the art of grace here. You can come up in another week and actually meet that challenge. You come up and you got 13 weeks to meet all these songs. Last week was write a drinking song. This week, the theme, are you ready for this? The theme for this week is commit a crime. Commit a crime. Whether you commit a crime, somebody else commits a crime against you, whether the man gets you down, I want you to write a song under the theme, commit a crime. Can you do that?
And you know who my inspiration was? The late great Rebel O'Leary, the king of country music.
I thought you were going to say Pete Taylor.
No, Rebel O'Leary.
And we're here with Craig Griffon, who is a local comedian and also does the open mics at the First Cap. Craig, what's it like doing comedy at a venue and at a event such as an open mic that's traditionally been music oriented?
Well, yeah, it's a big change of pace for the crowd to go from music to some smart ass on stage telling jokes back to music. But I found if you get people warm enough and they're into it, it really works. People are receptive.
How do you accomplish that? It must be terrifying to get up there and people all of a sudden don't see instruments and you have dead silence and you have to recover from that.
You get a lot of outside noise. People are talking. It's a bar and you have to respect that. But if I'm loud and annoying enough, someone's going to pay attention and I'll be able to get some ears turned my way.
Okay. And how do you find the open mic that's here at the First Cap? What's unique or what's different? What's specific to the crowd or to the venue and to the event that we do here every Wednesday night?
Well, I think mostly it's so warm because it's such a small environment, so it's really warm and well received. There's only so many seats on the bar, and you've got a full room right away, so it's really receptive.
My girlfriend dumped me for a TSA agent because she said I didn't touch her enough. I'm against the St. Louis Gateway Arch because I believe it leads to more potent, harmful arches. Speaking of court-mandated community service, I started tutoring midgets. Started tutoring them in math, because I realized it really is the little things that count. Did you hear Stephen Hawking? Stop it. Got a new wheelchair? He was so excited he could hardly control himself. So I lost some weight recently, thank you, and I started using the Nike Fuel running band on my arm. And according to that Nike Fuel band, I've masturbated for 4 miles today. Who's ever been to the Safeway grocery store before? Show of hands.
I've been to a
3, 4, to Shane, 4, David.
When I was a young lad.
Their motto,
I never did
back in the day, their motto is ingredients for life. And I think that's false advertising because the only place that should have that is the sperm bank. Because they store semen in jars in the freezer.
And do you have anything besides the open mic that you're doing in the York area that we should know about?
Yeah, on April 8th at the Depot, I'm doing a $5 show opening for a bunch of Pittsburgh touring comedians. Come check that out.
And we're here with spoken word artist Tez Rex. He also performs regularly at the First Caps open mic. Now, as a spoken word performer, what is that like at a loud and rowdy open mic where you really need to hear, that you really need to be quiet and listen to something like poetry?
Well, at first it was a little different because it is a totally different vibe than when you're standing, in front of like a crowd of like 10 people just sitting in chairs, listening to all your words. And that's why I feel like when I come to open mics, you kind of have to bring it harder. You have to, put more inflection in your voice because you want them to pay attention, from their drinks or their side conversation, because they can get a little rowdy. But I mean, it's still nice. People still get the same vibe. It's still like, oh, I love that. I always get compliments after I'm done. So
that's what I wanted to ask you next is, what do people come up and say to somebody that's doing spoken word? I know what they say to the musicians. What do they come up and say to you?
A lot of the times they're like, oh, I love that you wrote that, or I love that, phrase. They'll catch certain phrases or certain, line kind of thing. Yes, and that's what strikes them. And I like that.
And what is it about the open mic specifically here at the First Cab that you find appealing or that you find unique?
It's kind of become more of a homey feeling because there's a lot of regulars who come often, so they may have heard like some of my poems like 3 or 4 times, but I feel like each time it's kind of different and they notice and they let me know.
Because we never had that issue. I can hand you a tissue when you cry, but that doesn't make me any better than the man that was before me. Or maybe the man that'll come after, because I can't see the future. But I can surely predict that I want no other. I want no other, and I love you better than my sister or my brother. Because that's just what was told to me. I want to hold you closer. My skin to yours. And hopefully so we can begin this journey and our love will be pure. I played a lot of basketball, but I've never set on any score. But ours. Now everybody, I want you to delve into your mind. Finding yourself a time in which you beg. You begged and pleaded for someone to fill your need and no one succeeded. Someone tried to extinguish the fire. They only wanted to bring you higher above the clouds.
That was good.
Play regularly at the First Caps open mic. You two teamed up about, only a few months ago, right?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, I was in here one night playing up mic by myself, and we started talking. She played bass with some people, stood in, and then I drunkenly asked her if she wanted to join my band, and it's kind of been that way ever since.
All right, so Kat, what's your experience here at the open mic been for you? You're new to York, you're new to the first cap. What do you think?
Yeah, I really enjoy this experience. I really enjoy this open mic. This has been a really very good, very fantastic learning experience. It's helped me grow as a musician quite a bit too, just being able to play with so many different varied musicians as well.
Do you play around to other open mics, or is there something about the first cap that brings you back every time?
I can drink the most here.
That was honest?
Yeah.
Kat?
I play other open mics as well. I played at the Holy House, I played at the Deep Open Mic once, I played at the Bistro 19 Open Mic. This one, I always come back here. This is my first, this is my favorite.
And why is that your favorite?
Like I said earlier, it's about the musicians, it's about the people I play with, and people that continue to ask me to play with them as well.
in another musician who has been playing in New York, downtown open mic scene as well as his own gigs. Keith, you've been doing the open mic here at the First Cap for at least 5 years or so.
Longer.
Longer than that. How would you describe the experience here at the Cap's open mic as opposed to other open mics? What's unique or different or specific to the open mic we've got here at the Cap?
Well, it's got a lot of history. It's been here for a long, long time. You can smoke here, which I smoke stogies, so it's, I appreciate that. It's just always been a really cool open mic venue. Always a crowd that appreciates everybody that comes in here, and eclectic music scene, all kinds of music. So what more can you ask for?
It teaches you how to interact with everybody. It teaches you that you're not always going to like the people that you work with, but you can still learn from them and you can still have positive interactions with them. And it also teaches you how to prioritize.
Academics, I think it has opened creativity to a level that a lot of students don't get. When I read a book, or if we're reading something in English, I can look at it more from the perspective of the main character, because I have that background of interpreting words and making meaning out of that. I think dialogue in general in books has a lot more meaning to me, because dialogue is what we base plays and musicals around.
This is McDonald's.
Yeah, gangster. Make it big. Make it big. I know you're thinking, oh no.
Well, first when I walked into the theater room, I was just sort of like puzzled at what it was. Like, what was theater all about? And then eventually over time, over my course of the semester and stuff like that, I realized what it was. It was just art.
Ma'am, I'm replacing your first burger for free. Because it said it didn't taste right to you. And the second burger, because you thought it wasn't cooked enough. And now you're telling me this one's burnt.
Oh, no. Keep going. Come on, have fun.
You have got to be kidding me. Where do you think you are? This is McDonald's. We don't serve no sirloin steak.
Now do that again and let me see it in your eyes. Let me get some eye rolls, a little like, oh my, this is McDonald's. Okay, really accentuate your words like you think you know what you're talking about.
This is McDonald's.
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 Do it again.
McDonald's. 25 an hour, and I gotta put up with the likes of you.
Like you got a secret. Like you know what you're talking about.
I'll tell you what.
Yes, good.
Why don't you come back here, put on this ugly hat,
Give it to her.
and
Give it to
this
her.
ugly apron,
Give it to her.
and you go back and work with that grease.
I decided to take theater arts because my mom taught theater when she taught high school students, and I don't know, I'm more of a shy person, and I just thought the theater would kind of help me get out of my shell a little more.
She just said she'd be a minute, so...
Into the ball. Rock like a little baby.
I'd always been interested in theater and acting, but I never thought that I could do it. So come middle school, I had a bunch of friends who were in theater, and they were saying, oh, you should go audition, and there's this play and that play going on, and I was always unaware of everything that was going on, because I never paid attention. So I got dragged into an audition in middle school. I didn't get the part, but it was still interesting, because I got invited back like for the next day. I think it was like 2 days of auditioning, but it was still an interesting process, and then I just realized I really liked acting. So then high school came around, and found out there was a theater arts course and all that, and I decided to take it.
Went to Washington, D.C., who said, what do you do? I said, well, I teach high school acting classes all day, and they're like, what? Where are you located? How are you doing that? You know, and so we're very, very fortunate that and I appreciate that you guys take the classes, that you tell people about them, and you know, as I always say, we're putting butts in the seats, and they're not going to shut it down as long as people are doing it. And I think part of that is, you know, is that theater really is transformational, as you've experienced, and it has the possibility to really affect people's lives for a really positive thing. And I can say, without being cocky, but with being confident, that I feel like we're doing some really great things in terms of really trying to help people, help young people express themselves, and I'm just thankful that people are taking interest in it.
My journey is not that atypical from a lot of people, but I did a lot of performing when I was younger. My mom and dad saw that early on, and they generally pointed me in that direction. They got me involved in choir and singing and some school plays here and there. And I kind of put it on the side shelf for my formative years, from about 6th grade until about 11th grade. I spent those 5 years not really doing any acting or pursuing it, but I did a lot of music, and I was in some bands and played music and learned guitar, which to me is a form of performance still. So I was still kind of performing, just in a different vein. It wasn't until my junior year in high school, when the person that I was driving to school with, who was my ride, he was a senior, I was singing Harry Connick Jr. in the car, and he said, man, you can sing, you know, you should try out for the musical. We need guys, which is funny because we still need guys in a lot of high school theater, even to this day. So literally, I ended up trying out the next day because Jeff Fowler, the guy who drove me to work, kind of at a whim, said you should try out. I never thought about it, and he said you should come in and try out, and I did, and I got the lead part my first year as a junior. And honestly, from that point on, I was hooked.
My sister was a senior last year, and she encouraged me to join tech for the fall show last year. And I did just tech for the fall show, and then I was recommended to become stage manager for our musical last year. So that's how I got involved with stage managing and tech.
My mom had always said that I had way too much energy to keep in the house, and that I would always like put on little shows for my family, and I would always sing along to songs, and she always just thought that I would do very well. And I had pushed her away for a while and told her that I wouldn't like that kind of stuff. And then one day I heard about this summer camp that my principal was doing for my school, and it was like a week, and you just put on a show on Friday for all the parents and stuff. And I was like in 3rd grade, and I really liked it, and I found out that I kind of had a knack for it, and so I just been doing it ever since.
My dad was a technical director for years.
and he, you know, it was kind of like my playground, and I would go there, hang out, and we'd see shows all the time. And I always told myself, you know, by this age, you're gonna get on stage, you're gonna audition for the yearly annual Christmas Carol. And then his job got switched around. We moved up here. So then I got involved in York Little Theater, and that was in 2004. So I've been doing theater ever since.
Better or worse, it's ready. Close your eyes and come on out.
For my personal life, it helped me get out there and just get some jobs or put out some applications, be able to act on the spot. And it just made me more of an outgoing person. Like for me, I was sort of an introvert coming into the class. I wasn't really always, oh, hi, yeah. I was just sort of kept to myself, and I just really never outspoke as much.
Welcome to our second part of our New York City excursion. And I am extremely happy to introduce to you, hopefully, a future friend of mine, Miss Emily Fletcher.
Thanks, friend. I knew at 11 years old that I was going to move to New York. I knew that I was going to be on Broadway. It was not negotiable. It was not a question of if. It was just when. I'm going to do this. No, there was no debating. And I think that is the kind of resolve that you really have to bring any sort of challenging career into fruition. Now, this isn't just acting, right? Because some of you guys are going to go on to be actors, some of you aren't, and that's great. There is no right or wrong.
A really powerful thing to learn at a young age is that instead of being under the illusion that your happiness lies on the other side of Broadway, or on the other side of one job, or one person, or one place, or one thing, what we got to start to do is realize that our happiness lies inside of us. And then the beautiful thing that happens is that we get to use these stories, we get to use our acting, our performance, whatever job that we do, we get to use that as a way to deliver the goodness that's inside of us.
You young kids are hipper than me these days. But whatever it is that you're looking at the celebrities on, they look perfect, right? They look like they have perfect skin and perfect hair and perfect clothes and perfect lives and perfect houses and perfect cars and perfect babies and perfect rings. And the thing is, their lives are no different than yours. I'm great. I'm actually perfect. If perfection exists. I think we get trapped in the prison of the pursuit of perfection, trying to be perfect, trying to be perfect. Oh, I want perfect skin, I want perfect clothes, I want the perfect grades, I want the perfect resume, I want perfect everything, and that can be a prison. But if you realize that you're in fact already perfect, then all of these challenges, all of these fears, all of these dreams just become a chance to learn, a chance to grow, a chance to succeed. And I mean that in the root meaning of the word succession, that one thing moves into the next. Instead of this prison of perfection, trying to be this idea of what we think a perfect superstar celebrity should be, instead, let's bravely reveal ourselves. Let's be willing to be seen, to be heard, and to connect honestly when we're doing this work, when we're doing the acting work. And that can happen in comedy, it can happen in drama, it can happen in any number of ways, but it takes bravery. And it's hard. Acting is easy. We make it harder than it has to be because we put ourselves in this prison of perfection. But you guys already know how to listen. You already know how to walk. You already know how to read. You already know how to talk. And honestly, that and you being you is all it takes to be a good actor. But that takes practice. Why? Because we get scared when we get up and do it in front of people. What you put your attention on grows. If you spend 100% of your time only working on math, guess what? You would get better at math. If you spend 100% of your time only working on acting, guess what? You're going to be a better actor. You spend 100% of your time running track, guess what? You're going to be a great runner. What you put your attention on grows.
It helps me understand how other people are feeling just through all the character studies that you do, and it helps you understand really how people work. And it helps you a lot because with time management, because you spend so many hours rehearsing, you really have to crunch your time and make use of every second.
The experience I had up until I was in 9th grade and started really performing with the high school with Dream Rights, it was a family organization. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of like make-believe roles where you were an animal or you were something else. But as soon as I hit high school, it became real life. The first play that I had a major part in was Whose Life Is It Anyway? And that's a show about a man who is paralyzed and wants to die. And that hit me as a 14-year-old, having a role. I was the doctor of the man, and that was the lead female role. Having that role in 9th grade really hit me as something that was serious. Like, this is a real person. The words that I'm saying and the person that I'm trying to be isn't a make-believe fairy tale. It's something that could very well happen and something that I have to make believable for this short little blonde girl to be a doctor prescribing medicine and talking a man out of suicide and trying to get him to stay alive when he really doesn't want to. And that was just a real maturity level that I gained that freshman year. And I think if I were to go back now as a junior and do that play again, I'd play it a lot differently. And I think each year I've just gained, and Mr. Zortman has just increased my professional view of plays and shows, and the understanding I have of shows is now a lot more in depth. And I truly understand a character analysis now. Like, I'm not just reading lines. I'm understanding why my character is saying what she's saying and what she wants to gain from it and the relationships that she has with the other people in the show. And throughout my high school career, it has really prepared me for a professional career. Like, Mr. Zortman's program is very rigorous. It's very, very in-depth, and I think it has really increased my professionalism.
All right, you guys are all from Australia. Be that what you want it to be.
And I am the master of adhesive pictures.
Okay, all right, nice. All right.
I recommend the non-white tape.
Okay.
Only Scotch tape. That's the best kind of tape. Rarely blue because it bleeds through the pictures.
Do all the pictures of dogs.
Okay.
So sort of cats and dogs, got it figured out.
Gotcha, all right. And do you guys get along with that, or does that cause a lot of strife?
You know, we sit on opposite sides of the scrapbooking office.
There's another scrapbooking company from Japan that's doing some really good stuff. I heard they did Cars and Humans, and it was a really big win of a page. How do you feel about your competition?
It's funny you said that because you used to work for them, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You
should know what kind of glue they use.
I will say this, they have no pictures of dogs, and no pictures of cats, and no pictures of anything else. The blanks. It's just blank white pages.
It's like they have
They take the scrapbook and they take white paper and they glue it.
Peace, I'm E the Poet Emcee, the creative director of Griot Soul Recordings, host of the Griot Soul Review, originally from Baltimore, now we're worldwide. Well, Griot Soul, first of all, like Griot Soul Recordings is a all spoken word music label. And it's a modern spoken word label wherein we use multimedia means of marketing and promoting spoken word content. And the name Griot Soul, of course, is made up of two words. They're griot, French word, storyteller, in the tradition of the West African storytellers. I look at spoken word through the culture of what I do. I'm a progenitor of the Black Arts movement, began by Mary Baraka. So I come from the Black Arts movement going into hip hop culture as originated by the godfather of hip hop culture, Africa Bambaataa. In the modern context, the new performance poetry that most people are doing is a combination of both. If they do the research in the history of their favorite artists, it's a hybrid of the performance poets of the Black Arts movement and the influence of the hip hop MC coming out of hip hop culture. So the Griot Soul, it's covering old ground and bringing it back. The aspect of the marriage of spoken word performance with music, not just with the hip hop side alone, but performance poets with music is nothing new. Amir Baraka worked with music, the Last Poets worked with music, Nikki Giovanni put out recordings. So Griot Soul is a new movement of spoken word artists that work alongside with music, live bands, giving people more bang for their buck in terms of entertainment value, moving poetry beyond just the open mic performance, which we do need, but putting putting spoken word on the concert stage and that sort of thing. So that's the kind of things that we're interested in.
I'm the invisible man. These times are translucent. I'm too advanced for this heroin dance music. This rap fused with confusion, or the temporary high of the prescription drug you using, or that Molly's on. Black entertainment via Viacom. Ironica icons kids aspire on. These niggas more than suck, they spit vampire songs. But here's an alarm for your head. The Walking Dead is really the Walking Dead. We probably more zombie than we think that we are. Gotta see beyond bars of the Kendrick Lamar to swim in pools of wisdom. Like racism isn't a view, it's a system. The concept of race ain't even true, it's invention. You confused about the two, it's not a mistake, it's by intention. It's on purpose, you don't know your purpose. So damn, E, we gon' eat. No, brother, we gon' surface. But see, you're captive to that rap shit. What's active on your radio is really radioactive. That rotation got you complacent at ease in your dis-ease. They master ceremonial death through the breath of MCs. We used to conjure culture through the art of call and response. Paragraph or graphics through these spiritual fonts. We drew understanding on y'all through that yes, y'all. But it's not just for y'all, it's for the next y'all. I just spit this whole theme into your genes. Your great-grandkids bobbing their head, they living in this scene. But this pornographic rap shit got us living obscene. Too turned up to turn down, that makes you a fiend.
Well, the source of my writing, I'm always asking myself the question, like, what is the time and what must be done? Like, what has to be said, like, right now? You know, I look at spoken word poetry, and it's a beautiful thing that we have, like, around the country, this whole movement with the open mic situation, because at any given night, something can happen in the news today, and the people are buzzing around about it tomorrow. And somewhere in this week, I'm standing in front of people wherein, you know, we can reconstruct those things and build them back up. So most of my writing comes from deconstructing pop culture things that, you know, the people need to talk about that they don't hear in the popular songs on the radio. You know, like the popular songs on the radio, I call that like least common denominator entertainment. You know, it doesn't come from the heart, it's not in rhythm with the people where they actually are right this moment. So what we have the advantage of as poets is not like just talking at the people, but talking with the people.
Women are God's law, reduced to G codes. Heads of household who've lost their key codes. The determining factor to what happens to a peephole, the peephole to the future through what happens through our peephole. It sounds crude, but no more rude than out of the face of a dude that use baritone tones that sound like hate. Bass sounds make sounds of love that feel like rape. Since daddy wasn't around, surround sound feels like fate, but Destiny's Child is looking for a soldier. All the single ladies got these demons on their shoulders. Wow. Pat your weaves, ladies. He taps ass, leaves baby. Growl does the doggy style, but she's the bitch that's crazy. See, these moans without matrimony makes bastards out of our lives. Love lost in that crossover makes basketball wives. We play for a court, child support see me pay, but who pays is meaning me through me, me's and Stevie J's. Now these pappies like Young Scrappy need new pussy to feel happy. You say that's niggas on TV, but that's them niggas that are we. We're them lower standard sag low to show our ass. 30-year-old rappers rap their kids to show our swag. Overgrown adolescents got no lessons out of life, no source of understanding, just niggas with bad advice. See, these black male behavior patterns need to be addressed. Study the logic of his psychological need to be an address. Because this femininity makes us weak to face our enemy. Black male passivity is a strategy of white supremacy. See, niggas playing checkers, oppressor playing chess. Afraid you won't be king, queen strapping down their breasts. Maybe she's a dom because the dominant force in our culture. She needs him so she beats him just to bring him closer. So there's no need for homophobia or the fear you'll be replaced, because once a man just be a man, everyone else falls in place. See, Eve can be retrieved from Adam's fall from grace. Just protect your wife from taking advice from that.
And what I find in Philly,
leaving Satan's world,
it's like a pearl in the oyster that, like, I don't think the people, usually it's kind of hard for you to really know how great a city you live in, you know, unless you're coming from somewhere else and someone go, man, this is a great city. You know, Philadelphia is rich in the history of black people. Like, really is dripping with it. Like, so many things has happened in the movement of black people in that city that for the type of things that I do, being a progenitor of the, you know, black arts movement, how I feel about hip hop culture, how I feel about our people, a lot of historical things just in the water in Philadelphia that it makes it like just a best place for me to set up my whole East Coast thing. I'm on this whole East Coast
when it comes to the
thing.
flesh.
I'm from like
What impressed me
Northern Virginia, all the way up to New York City,
I love the skin color,
and
that's the
all the
same
points
as
in
the
between is where my ground of operation is. And Philadelphia is like a beautiful jump off point, 2 hours from Baltimore, 2 hours from New York, right there in the middle.
If she can't make you better, you better leave that alone. And you can't bring her joy if she can't bring her own. See, that's my mama's spoken word. God's voice about 5'2", about yay wide, brown eyes that could see inside you. So if I dated you, my mama rated you on a scale from 1 to 2. 1, she's for fun. 2, she's for I do. See, my mama never hated the game, only what the game could do. Said life goes faster or slow, so what lane are you? What drives the inside of you? Because if you ain't God-centered, the devil is entered and he likes to ride too, but won't chip in for gas. See, he likes to ride on fumes. See, God wanna write you forever, baby. The devil likes to write on tombs. So the next time that you perform, put this within your verse. This is a patriarchal society, but it's a matriarchal universe. And there's this worship of other women, which really is perverse, because everything that a woman is, a black woman was at first. But she's following these freaks that want to style her physique. Like a trollop that she wonders why they holler in the streets. You better find you a woman that knows the meaning of discreet. Keeps her ass to herself, not for any nigga to see. See, they all seeking matrimony, but they ain't training to be a wife. No function beyond fucking, and some ain't doing that right. Oh, that's my mama say shit like that. Cause right in the middle of their man, there's this riddle they don't understand. So why be the project bitch when the kingdom of God is in your hand? See, he's just a Jesus, hasn't adjusted to the plan. You gotta marry Magdalene and lean on that God in that man. Be a gold digger, cause in that nigga is a treasure. A diamond, if you put the time in, apply the right pressure. See, my mama kept a Bible and a Quran on her dresser.
Because there's always something that needs to be said. And those of us who spend time, you know, and this, and especially the poets, you know, anybody that's dealing with art, like art has the ability to connect on levels that normal conversation, essays, political speeches just don't. It just doesn't. So art has the ability to connect. So it's so important that artists are like studied people. Like you really should study, like don't talk about spirituality, like really be a spiritual being, like meditate, pray, study spiritual theology, because your ability to speak about these things, like I hear a lot of great writing techniques and stage performance. You know, we got all the trappings of artistic expression, but there's not a lot of meditating on what we're actually talking about. Like, you know, be studied, know something about the political philosophies that you're talking about. Like, study those things. And there's always room for that to happen. So my thing is, the main thing I want people to walk away with are actual tools that they can use to apply to to themselves, to their family life, to their community, to build political institutions, spiritual institutions. Because I'm not just talking. I've studied some things. I'm not a dumb guy, and there's a lot of poets that I know they're really not dumb people. Like if you sit down and talk to Flaum, for instance. This brother is brilliant. So by the time you get to a poem, he's put like years of study into a 3-minute poem. But if you dissect that poem, each line is giving you, like, if you take that line and Google some of the things that he's talking about, you know, there's a lot that goes into the best artists put so much in a poem that you can just take that poem and digest it. You got tools. So I want people to walk away with tools that they can actually apply, because I'm giving people, I'm not just talking about relationships like, oh, she was pretty and then I fell in love, thank you very much, give thanks. No, I'm talking about certain things about how you can actually build, sustain a successful relationship, as I'm learning to do that myself. So as I learn things about how the universe works, I put it into a poem to give people those tools. So I would like to see, I'm a byproduct of a kid listening to rap music. I'm a byproduct of that. I didn't go to college. I'm a high school dropout. But what inspired me to direct my life into an avenue of purpose and become a student of life and to be a teacher of life is through art.
Once again, I'm Carla Christopher, and thank you for joining us right here on the corner of Culture in Maine for another episode of York's Weekly Cultural Showcase, bringing you the very best of the art and culture scene in the York area. Now, if you like what you heard, or even if you didn't, we want to hear from you. So find us on Facebook and make sure to click like at facebook.com/cultureinmaine. Follow us on Twitter at cultureinmaine. Email us at cultureinmaine@gmail.com. Or to find all things Culture in Maine, check out our website, wrct.tv. Go to Channel 18, Show Profiles, and pick Culture in Maine. We want to also thank the artists who contributed to our set. We want to thank Hacker and Case for Change for donating the guitar. And we want to thank, of course, the fabulous artist Lovey Reinhold Price. Find her under The Glass Vidalia on Facebook or by emailing theglassvidalia@gmail.com. And John Stump of jsphotographyfinearts.com. You can also look up JS Photography Fine Arts on Facebook as well. So be safe, be good to each other, and we will absolutely see you here next week on the corner of Culture and Maine.
I'm really excited about this. I love the atmosphere, and I just want to know more about it. I see it evolving, changing, growing. I like it.
It's fleeting. Once it happens, once a song comes out, once a poem comes out, it'll never come out the same.
Some of the Culture in Maine is documenting what's going on in a way that will have that lasting staying power.
It just breeds healthy growth. It's a necessity. It's a necessity, yes.